Hidden in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains, where Little Tennessee River bends quiet and wide, stands Fort Loudoun, a place both of alliance and conflict, where cultures met at a turning point in history. Built in 1756, this fort once marked the edge of the British frontier, surrounded by the homelands of the Cherokee Nation. Here, soldiers and Cherokee leaders worked side by side, trading, negotiating, and trying to find peace in a world divided by empires. The land still carries their stories of courage, misunderstanding, and resilience. Every stone and ripple of water whispers reminders of what happens when two worlds try to share one river. Welcome to Fort Loudoun State Park, where Tennessee history runs deep and every step echoes with the memory of those who walked here before us. Our visit begins inside the Visitor Center, where the story of the fort comes alive. The site takes us back to the 1750s during the French and Indian War, when the British and the Cherokee formed an uneasy alliance. The exhibit shows maps of the frontier, Cherokee trade goods, soldiers' uniforms, and weaponry. Small details that help you imagine life here. You get a sense of how two worlds collided, British soldiers bringing muskets and redcoats, Cherokee warriors bringing knowledge of the land and their own traditions. Fort Loudon stands on the ancestral home of the Overhill Cherokee, a network of towns that once thrived along these rivers and ridges. In 1756, during the French and Indian War, British soldiers built this fort with Cherokee support, an alliance built on trade and trust. For a brief time, they fought side by side, hoping to keep peace on a restless frontier. But misunderstandings and broken promises turned friendship into conflict. By 1760, the Cherokee laid siege to the fort. When the soldiers finally surrendered, tragedy followed on their long journey home. Today, Fort Loudon stands as a reminder of that fragile peace and the cost of losing it. Volunteers keep that story alive, not to celebrate battle, but to help us remember what it meant to stand between two worlds.
Thanks for coming out today. So with me today, I have my Brown Bess musket. It's the standard firearm of a British soldier of this period, and it is a flintlock. Does anyone know why it's called a flintlock? You have a section here called the lock, and on it you have a piece of flint. When you pull it back to full cock, it builds a lot of tension due to springs inside of here. When you pull the trigger, all that tension relieves, causing the flint here to slam forward into the metal, creating a spark. Spark catches gunpowder on fire, gunpowder goes boom, sending shot down range. Of course, today I'm not going to be firing live ammunition, I'm just going to be using powder. I'm going to go through the steps to show you how a soldier would fire this weapon. So first thing a British soldier is going to want to do is take a cartridge from his cartridge box. They would have in here pre-rolled cartridges containing both the powder and the shot tied at the bottom. Of course, today it is just powder. One thing all British soldiers had to have is a pair of matching teeth. It looks like we got a storm coming in. Here sounds like it. We then prime his pan with a little bit of powder. That's enough to catch a spark. There's a small hole here that connects the pan to the barrel where the rest of the powder is going to go. And you want to make sure to push this down. Otherwise, your powder is going to fall on the ground, and then you would have to redo it. Once you have that secured down there, you're going to pour the rest of your powder, along with your shot, into the barrel. Oftentimes, they would just put the whole cartridge in together, but again, for safety reasons, just because this can catch fire, we take it out, put it in our hats. You then take your rammer, because when you're putting it down there, sometimes it can get stuck, especially if you haven't cleaned your gun recently, and if you've fired it a lot. So you take the rammer to ram it down, and make sure it actually connects to where the pan meets the barrel. You want to take that rammer out, make sure you do. It may go down range when you fire it. If you leave it in, it may stab a guy, but then you can't use it next time. So you secure it back there. Once that's secured, you bring it to shoulder, pull it back to full cock, and hopefully giving fire. Ooh, and you see there, I had a misfire. Regular occurrence. This is why you fired in company. You have multiple men firing all at the same time. But sometimes your gun can be a bit finicky. And if you could say back here, ma'am, Because I'm going to try to fire it once more. Try about 2 more times just to see in case that was a flunk. Bring that up. Giving fire. 5.
Okay.
Full trained soldier, if it didn't misfire, would be able to do that roughly 3 times per minute, and it was effective to about 100 yards.
Ye old pizza oven.
Oh, yep, that's pizza. Oh, it's for pottery.
Welcome to ye old shop. What can I get for ye? Did you bring your pence? Boba tea?
What? Where? Oh, boba tea. Go ahead. Boba.
Nice comfortable ground. Ooh, I see the blacksmith.
Walking through the wooden palisade walls today, you can picture what life might have been like. The barracks crowded with soldiers, the blacksmith's forge ringing with hammer blows, the powder magazines holding the fort's lifeline of ammunition. You can almost hear the sounds, certainly the muskets being loaded, the creak of the wagons, and the tense silence of guards scanning the tree lines.
Look at this spider web. That is giant. Yeah, he worked really hard.
Here. Oh, wait, no, this was for honeys.
Ants on that one.
What the heck?
Oh. She's a pretty tree. Pretty tree.
Gonna make a good video.
Pretty tree. Yeah.
Can you put sit down, please?
Just as we were wandering through history, nature reminded us who's in charge. We saw dark clouds beginning to roll over the mountains, and before long we knew a thunderstorm would break out. So part 1 of our journey ends with history in a storm, but don't worry. Fort Loudoun has so much more to explore. Next time we'll be back to hike the trails, take in the lake views, and share even more of what makes this park special. Standing here today, it's easy to forget the battles that once defined this ground, the promises made, the friendships forged, and the heartbreak that followed. But the land remembers, the water remembers, and visiting Fort Loudoun is more than walking through a fort. It's walking through the story of how Tennessee began. Take a quiet moment here. Let the wind off the river tell its story. This is Hidden Tennessee, where every wrong turn leads to the right view. We'll see you next time.